Let us begin by reading the word problem out loud. The cost of first-class shipping is $1, $3, or $7 per label. Miguel needs 10 $1 labels and a combined total of 20 $3 and $7 labels. If Miguel spent a total of $102 on labels, how many $3 and $7 labels did he purchase? Let us begin our strategy for problem solving by analyzing the problem. The first thing you want to do when analyzing any problem is you want to identify what's being asked of you to find. In this case, we're asked, how many $3 and $7 labels did he purchase? So we're going to have two quantities that we're going to want to solve for. The first one is being the number of $3 labels, and the second one being the number of $7 labels. So let's go ahead and assign a variable, and we'll go ahead and just do step 2. So we're going to have two variables. I'll go ahead and choose x and y, and again, they could be any variable. In this case, x and y are going to equal the number of $3 shipping labels purchased, and y is going to equal the number of $7 shipping labels purchased. So again, our assignment of the variable is simply the question reworded in the form of a statement. So now let us go ahead and see what other information we can extract. Well, we know there's 3 prices. The cost of first-class shipping is either $1, $3, or $7 per shipping label. So there's 3 things to keep in mind. And we also know that Miguel needs 10 $1 labels and a combined total of 20 $3 and $7 labels. So we already know the specific number of $1 labels that we need. That's going to be 10. And we also know that the $3 and $7 labels combine to give us 20. Not only that, but we know the amount that he spent total overall, which is $102 on labels. And then again, that's how much he spent. So we actually have all the information that we need for our equations. And now the one thing that you want to keep in mind is the following statement. And now go ahead and put it up at the top. So it's going to be the key for this problem and for most word problems. And that's that the number of unknown variables has to equal the number of equations. So in this case, since we have 2 variables, x and y, we're going to go ahead and need 2 equations. And we actually have the structure required for the following 2 equations. And that's going to be as follows. So here we go. This is going to be the structure of our 2 equations. And then ideally, there were 2 things that we were referring to. In red, we could see that everything's in reference to labels. And in blue, we have everything with reference to cost. So ideally, that's going to give us 2 equations, one all about labels and the other all about cost. So now let's go ahead and substitute the things that we know. So we'll start off with the labels equation. Now, we don't actually know the number of $3 labels that we need, but we do know it's represented by the variable x. And similarly, the number of $7 that we need, we know it's represented by the variable y. And we know, as stated in red, that it's going to be a combined total of 20. So it's going to be our first equation. Now let's go ahead and work with our second equation. We're going to have the cost, which is 1, and we're going to multiply that by the number of $1 labels, which is in red, given as 10. And we're going to add to that, that's going to be 3 multiplied by the number of $3 labels, which is x, plus 7 times the number of $7 labels, which is y. And it's going to give us a total cost of $102. So there we go. Those are going to be our 2 equations. Now let's go ahead and solve them. So the first equation, it's going to be 20. And the second equation is going to be 10 plus 3x plus 7y is equal to 102. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to simplify as much as possible on each equation. Notice that on the second equation we have 10 on the left and we have 102 on the right, so we can go ahead and combine those constants by subtracting 10 from both sides. So now on the left-hand side of the equation, the positive 10 and the negative 10 disappear, and we're left with 3x plus 7y is equal to 102 minus 10 is going to give us 92. And then on the left equation, we could actually solve for one of the variables. I'm going to go ahead and solve for x. So I'm going to do so by subtracting y. So again, the positive y and the negative y simplify out, and we're left with x is equal to 20 minus y. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and substitute this into the second equation in the place of x. So we're going to have 3 times x, which is now going to be 20 minus y. We're going to add to that 7y, and it's going to be equal to 92. So now distributing the 3, we're going to end up with 60 minus 3y plus 7y is equal to 92. We can go ahead and combine the negative 3y plus the 7y. A negative 3 plus a 7 is a 4, so it's going to leave us with 60 plus 4y is equal to 92. But then just as we did previously, notice we have a 60 on the left and a 92 on the right. So you go ahead and combine those constants by eliminating them from one side. So we'll subtract 60 from both sides. And now the positive 60 and the negative 60 simplify out, and we're left with 4y is equal to 32. Since we're multiplying the y by 4, we want to eliminate that multiplication. Only way to do so is by division, and then we have to divide by 4. So on the left-hand side, we end up with y, and we get 8 on the right. So we know y is equal to 8. So we plug that in to the equation for x, and we get x is equal to 20 minus y. However, y is equal to 8. So then we end up with x is equal to 12. And there we go. We have our two variables solved for. So now let's go ahead and state our conclusion clearly. And we'll state the following. So we're going to have Miguel purchased 12 $3 shipping labels and 8 $7 shipping labels. So now let us go ahead and check the result. So we'll start off with the original equation. X plus y equals 20, and then 10 plus 3x plus 7y equals 102. Substituting in the corresponding values into the first equation, we end up with 12 plus 8 equals 20. The left-hand side is indeed 20. So we end up with 20 is equal to 20. So one equation is true. And once we plug in the corresponding values for x and y, we know that x is equal to 12 and y is equal to 8. So then this gives us that 10 plus 36 plus 56, hopefully equal to 102. It actually is indeed once you do the math. So we end up with another true statement. And our solutions are correct.